It's the day after day 3 of our yoga teacher training. Our yoga teacher training is 15 Saturdays long. It lasts about 4 months, and so far so good. So I am the lead trainer of a yoga teacher training here in Poulsbo, Washington, and I'm hosting it at my yoga studio called Ash's Yoga Studio. And it's a lot different than the previous training I ran prior, but we're not going to talk too much on that. Day 3. So last week I did have a guest instructor, and she did filled up a lot of the time. But today, or yesterday, it was pretty much all me leading the entire day, and I love it because it's so much fun for me because I know a lot of the information already. It's not mentally draining so much, but it was a little bit physically draining. So in the morning, I taught a Ashtanga-based Vinyasa class, and we did a ton of back bends. So very opening, very energizing. Most people said that they really enjoyed it. I got no negativity from it. It seemed like a really good class. We had a break, and then we come back and we started our pose breakdowns. So really getting in depth a little bit more on how to do the poses, what down dog, like the sun salutation poses. So alignment stuff, what is involved with a pose, what do we have to think about, and that's alignment and gaze and energy lines and the benefits of the poses and what you're getting out of what type of pose it is, a category. So we started with that. We also did a little bit more anatomy and then talked about what makes a great yoga teacher. We talked about our first yama. If you haven't read or gotten a hold of the Yamas and the Niyamas book, do I have it right here? No, I don't. But the Yamas and the Niyamas by Deborah Adele is amazing. Everyone so far is loving it. They're saying that it's so hard for them to not read ahead. And I was like, just go ahead and read ahead. Just come back to the chapter that we're on when we do the discussion. So everyone's saying that it's like changing their lives. So Yamas and Niyamas is a great book for teacher training. I'm really glad that I had found that. It's not something I read in my own teacher training, but it's something that I found later on. And I too thought it changed my life when I read it. And I continue to reread it and come back to the concepts because it's yoga, but it's not the asana or the pose yoga that we think about. It's the lifestyle, the ethics, that kind of stuff. So we talked about ahimsa, which is the first one. It means nonviolence, or the opposite of everything that is violent and harmful, so doing no harm. And how can we do that? How can we not do harm to others and ourselves? You'll have to read the chapter or read the book in order to get a full depth look at that, but I'm not going to go into all the details, but I highly recommend it. I'll post a link to all the yoga training books that we have in this training. And then we did a lot of practice teaching. I think my favorite part of training, I think a lot of people's favorite part of training, was about that half hour before we were starting our restorative class. We had a little bit of time. And I had someone come up to me and ask me, okay, how do we do crow pose? We were all warmed up because we had just practiced how to teach slower sun salutations and alignment and all that. So everyone was warmed up. And then each person kept saying, show me that again, show me that again. So gather ye round, yogis. Let's do a quick little arm balance breakdown. So I did how to do crow pose and crane pose, or bakasana, and the differences and how neither is right or wrong. And then we did a little handstand workshop too, because I had some people also interested in the steps and how to get into handstand. I wasn't teaching a lot of the progressions or how to build strength into them, but the actual step-by-step process of, if you have the strength already, if you've been practicing yoga and you want to practice your handstand or your crow pose, here's how you would get into it. Because oftentimes in classes, the teacher might say, we're in a yogi squat. If crow is in your practice, then go into it. Or if you'd like to take flight, then take an arm balance. Without the actual step-by-step breaking it down, where do you press, where do you engage, where do you stretch, where do you look? So I did that, and I think everybody got up, and some people were very shocked and surprised that they were able to hold that crow pose or with their feet off the ground. It was like wow, this is so cool. So there were high fives and celebrations. And it was really fun. And then we did a restorative practice, which I had someone come in and play live guitar music, which was also so fabulous. I didn't know he was going to come today, but I was like, come on in, play some music. And a lot of people fell asleep. And it's really hard for me still to unwind from a day like that. It was really fun, exciting. I had a lot of activities. I love leading groups like this, but I find myself struggling to unwind at the end of the night and then falling asleep, and I actually need extra sleep. And so I woke up this morning at my regular time when the kids woke up, and so tired still, and thinking that I needed to go to bed earlier or nap some more. So I taught this class, the 9 a.m. class, subbing, and it was actually a little challenging. I felt really drowsy. It was hard for me to concentrate. I sort of found myself defaulting just to some scripts that I already know so that I knew what to say. So because I found myself saying things that I'm like, okay, Ashley, stop it. You're way too long-winded. Just shut up. And so sometimes when I teach classes, it's just back to a script or what you know. Don't try to get inspirational. Don't try to be say something that's going to be life-changing. Just do the basics. And so that's what I had to do, and then I felt a little more comfortable into class being like, okay, just do the basics, and so that's that. So my struggle, I think, as a lead trainer is figuring out rest time, and having an all-day training like that is so exhilarating. There's so much going on, and it's so important to get that rest. I interestingly also had something happen to me that freaked me out. So I might be drinking too much coffee or caffeine or too stimulated in some way, but I'm usually pretty good at regulating my heart rate. And when we broke for lunch at about 2 o'clock, all of a sudden I was doing some things, putting things away. My heart started beating like 3 times faster than normal, and I couldn't slow it down. And it lasted about a minute or so, and someone said to lay down and put my feet up, so I did, and it still was really, really fast. And then like a light switch, it just went back to regular. So I don't think that's healthy, and I think I need to make some changes in my life so I'm not as stressed out or worked up, because it wasn't like an anxiety thing where I was panicking because my breath was normal. It was just my heartbeat just all of a sudden became super fast. And I think part of that was, too much coffee or caffeine, not enough food, an exciting day where I'm sort of just bouncing around and overstimulated on life. So I don't necessarily need coffee. I don't think I do. I might be addicted now. I didn't mean to be, but it's just wanting a warm, cozy beverage. So I think I need to switch to tea. Even a little caffeine in tea is still better than the caffeine in coffee. Or if I have coffee, it's only a half a cup or something like that at home. So I might be having to switch to hot chocolate. Hot chocolate would be fine too. It's probably better than the caffeine for me. Hot chocolate, tea. We do have a hot water dispenser here, so I'll just have to be aware of that. I really just love going to the coffee shop right next door though, and having conversations with them and having them make me my coffee, and they know exactly what I want. Every single person there knows what I order. It's all excuse me, it's also expensive, so it can be. So anyway, that was our week 3. I also gave them a homework assignment of studying or writing up a little report on a style of yoga, a type of yoga. So a type of yoga, like there's Bhakti yoga and Karma yoga, and there were 3 others too, Raja yoga, and then some that start with a J, Japa, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but Jnana, Jnana, something like that. So their task is to do a little research on each style of yoga, write a report. If they want to do any visual aids, that's fine, but it shouldn't be like this big thing. It should we just want to learn more than the little tiny paragraph or excerpt that I had in the manual. So I want to hear more about that style of yoga, what makes it different than the yoga we believe to be yoga, and I'm excited to hear what everyone says. So that was our homework, and then also reading the next yamas and niyamas. We're talking about Satya next week, so truthfulness, and going to yoga classes. So I'm excited to continue this teacher training. It's been really great so far. Everyone is excited to come to training to learn and to engage. So this has been a really easy process with this group of people. Some groups are different than others. Of course, every group's the dynamic will be a little bit different. But I think having Jessica last week really helps to bring a little bit of closeness in with everybody. So that is my recap for day 3 of yoga teacher training. If you want to learn more about me, it's ashesyoga.com. You can also find me anywhere at Ashes Yoga, or the studio is ashesyogastudio.com, and you'll find the schedule of classes at our lovely studio and any other events we have going on. All right, thanks for watching.